Good morning, true believers. This is David Joyner, your local neighborhood illustrator, coming to you again with another tutorial from the Artist's Corner. Today am going to slow things down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about doing this little castle and doing the moon, perhaps. We're using the 0.05 lead. And I was thinking about doing this, and I was thinking to myself, I think everybody would enjoy it if I definitely slow down and make these illustrations the best that I know how, and that includes the audio, and that includes taking them up a level. So I'm going to show you guys how I do the castle, not just the art after I've got the castle sketched in. So I didn't really look at any pictures for drawing this castle. I'm sort of just playing the game where you're probably going to have a castle with probably 4 walls. Each wall is going to have a conical shaped top on each corner, and each corner is actually going to be it's basically a tower connected by walls. So 4 towers connected by 4 walls, and then you can kind of double that up with internal stuff. So I got internal towers, and those are taller than the outside walls and towers. And then that sort of just all fed into this idea that the drawbridge center is going to be inlaid into it, so it's actually got its own little set of inner walls, and I'm working on that right now, and that would be where the drawbridge is. These are actually this is actually a very big castle very far away, which kind of helps me because that limits some of the type of it limits the amount of detail that is required, but still I can use gesture drawing, and I advise you guys to definitely look at some gesture drawing for rock, gesture drawing for shadows and rock, excuse me, not rock, but bricks. I haven't decided yet if this is going to be a nighttime scene or a daytime scene, so that moon could easily turn into the sun. But as you can see, we're working in 4 walls, and the corners actually stick out a bit. I like that idea that you got these rounded corners. It gives me an interesting place to put shadows. And as you can see, I've added a further ridge line of trees, so the trees are actually kind of hiding. It's like a castle that is in the middle of a forest. I like that idea. And so that's what we're going with on this one. And I am currently enjoying another R.A. Salvatore book. I don't know if you guys have known the Orc King, but I just love that Group's one eye. That's just kind of cool. I like to call him something else, but it's rude and I wouldn't say it on a tutorial. So anyway, I will actually take some time in this illustration. I'm actually moving pretty quickly through this drawing process, and you guys may want to rewind this one and play it over, but we're gonna work on this in ink just a little. I will ink the castle on a separate tutorial, I think, because this is of the length that I think this one's going to take. So I'm just sort of separating out some of these areas here. They got a idea in my head, and I think it'll work out. Little windows. As you can see, if the windows are that small, you're not going to see the bricks. They're just too far away. So we can definitely work in a brick design, maybe in the shading process, probably in the shading process. You can see I've got the very small trees running off into the distance. We're going to pull out our Micron 01 pen now, and we're going to start inking. Now look at these trees. Look at this tree here. Look at these trees, and then look at how you've got to remember to make these tiers on the trees. It's not just that you're making a triangle farther away. You actually can count the number of tiers on these trees, and I'm keeping up the consistency of the number of tiers on the tree, or the sort of number of branches. So they, but this is about as far away as I think I'm going to get with the size description there. I mean, where I'm duplicating something in the foreground, in the background, or the midground, excuse me. This would be technically the midground. You got to get your terms right if you want to sound professional. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and say we're at 5 minutes, 30 seconds, and we only have about another 3 minutes here to work on this illustration. We're going to go ahead and finish these trees, and then I'm going to do a little bit of layering for the landscape, so it'll push these trees closer to us, but keep them from joining and becoming part of the foreground. I want them to stay definitely in the midground. Now we're in the background. That's how quickly it happens. You go from midground to background. And these trees are completely drawn differently. This is where I say anybody could do it, because really it's a bunch of straight little lines that meet other lines in a curving, arcing motion. And the trees are nothing more than little itty-bitty blips along the line. You can either draw them on top of the line you're drawing, and that puts them behind the hill, or you can draw those little itty-bitty trees with or in front of the line you're drawing, and that brings them closer. And it's just we're going to go in now and just work on some of this hillside up here, which is also covered in trees. And you can round the hillside like I'm doing right now by simply bringing in your little itty-bitty triangular shaped ridges of trees, and it just gives the whole thing a whole new dimension. So we're going to bring these little trees all the way up. You can see they're not very. That's a big castle. Those windows are in that castle look pretty big. Those are big doors, big castle. That's probably a 4 or 5, maybe even a 6-story castle. Maybe just up to the, and then not even counting the towers and stuff. Those probably go up another story. It's like an 8, 9, 10-story castle, which is really big. But I like to get a little detail in, so we may end up making some of that castle. I may have to actually shrink some of that stuff down to make it fit. The doorway there in the main front of the castle, I can already tell that's going to have to made just a little smaller, and the windows are going to have to be turned into little dots. But that simple adjustment of windows and doors on the castle will bring it into perspective. Of course, we're going to do that in the next tutorial. That way we got something to actually correct in the illustration. So you're actually seeing the process of correction for scale. The castle can stay that size, but the windows and the doors have to become smaller. It's an easy fix. Anyway, I'm just going to come in here and just make a couple of definite deciding lines here. I like this. I like the front of the castle here. We'll keep all that. And we got these, in most castles you're going to have a little bit of wood there. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for joining me for this tutorial, and if you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and I will make more. And if you like this illustration, or if you have any comments, please let me know of your ideas. Thank you and for joining me here at the Artist's Corner. Bye-bye.